Today, the House is expected to vote on the budget. Then the governor must sign it into law in the next 4 days. Flooding will be a concern here, of course. We see that warm up. We always go through this, and it's already a problem in some neighboring states.
Cars heading east on St. Clair hit a utility pole, and yeah, it's split in half. There are still pieces of debris out by the scene, shattered glass everywhere. Look at this car, ripped in two. Police saying this happening around 2 this morning. So first off, to give you an idea where I am, I'm on Detroit Road right by Crocker Park. This apartment complex that caught fire and is still on fire is the Barrington apartment complex. And she told me she heard a very loud explosion. She saw glass from the windows of the home next door shooting out from that home. And she said she and her family rushed out of the home. They are safe this morning. The drivers are just zipping past this crosswalk. They're not stopping for pedestrians.
Remember your high school graduation? You walked across the stage, you got that diploma, had a party, maybe had some cake. Found that using tablets and smartphones right before you go to bed can throw off your internal clock and make it more difficult to fall asleep. I'm guilty of that.
It just gives you a perspective of how dangerous. Yes, this cold weather is uncomfortable, but it is dangerous out there. We're talking frostbite can start in a matter of minutes, hypothermia.
Simply put, Tamir Rice's mother is not happy with how the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office is handling her son's shooting death case. With this one in particular here on Triscuit Avenue in Cleveland has one homeowner beyond frustrated, but also concerned for his own family's safety.
Looking fabulous, Terrence. I love it.
All right, thanks so much. In other news, in health news, actually, a vaccination mandate in California. A committee there just approved a bill requiring school children to get their shots. It's intended to prevent outbreaks like the state recently saw with the measles outbreak. Only medical issues would make kids exempt from the vaccines. The measure, though, now heads for a full assembly vote. The CDC is trying to track down anyone who may have had contact with a woman who has a rare case of tuberculosis. She came to the U.S. 7 weeks ago for treatment, but traveled to Illinois, Missouri, also Tennessee. Experts say this type of TB is worse because 70% of the time it's fatal and is resistant to drug treatments. Well, most of Northeast Ohio concentrated on the Cavs' win last night. The Indians were playing right next door at Progressive Field. The Tribe taking on the Mariners, but not the outcome that we wanted. Indians in it to the final batter, but came up short 3-2. So the Tribe and Mariners will play again tonight, and we need the weather to cooperate, Samara. 5:18 Simpson fans, we feel like the end may be near. Just yesterday, we told you Bart would be killed in an upcoming episode. Well, now Marge and Homer are splitting ways. An executive producer for the show says the couple will legally separate in the premiere of season 27. Al Jean shared the details with Variety. I want to stress we didn't make this story up. A man in China is suing an actress because he claims that she stared too intensely at him. That is kind of an intense stare through the TV screen. Okay, so this man is claiming he suffered spiritual damage from her staring too intensely at him. Officials with the country's Supreme Court call it an abuse of a citizen's right to file lawsuits. And Carnival Cruises has a new ban starting next month. Passengers will not be allowed to bring bottled beverages onto its ships. The company says it's trying to stop smuggled alcohol from being brought on board disguised as water. But Jackie will be happy to know there is an exception to the ban. You are allowed to bring along a bottle of wine. Well, we know you like a glass of wine here and there. It's 5:20 on your Wednesday. Coming up on Good Morning Cleveland, new information on the Texas officer accused of only taking issue with African-American teens at a pool party. Also new this morning, how Hawkins School remembers 2 students lost in that deadly crash. You're watching Good Morning Cleveland right here on News Channel 5. We'll be right back. Welcome back. New this morning, a Lake County woman will need to lace up her running shoes for her court sentence. Kaylee Case pleaded guilty to skipping out on a taxi fare for a trip from Cleveland to Painesville. And the News Herald says the 19-year-old was given a choice: spend 2 months in jail or walk 30 miles at the fairgrounds. She chose the latter and will wear a GPS to record her progress starting today. All right, time right now to check in with Samara. Look at that beautiful shot of the queue. And at 9 o'clock this morning, veterans in the Lorain area will rally in support of a veterans clinic. They're opposing a proposal made last year to move the clinic out of St. Joseph's Community Center. Vets have already collected nearly 2,000 signatures. Well, protesters were out in downtown Cleveland last night calling for justice for Tamir Rice.
No justice, no peace, the racist police.
Cleveland police shot and killed the 12-year-old while he was playing with a toy gun last November. Officers surrounded the group the whole way, and while no one was arrested, they did stop traffic for a time. We will have more on community outcry in this case ahead in our next half hour. It is 5:25, and a look right now at last night's winning Ohio lottery numbers. So good luck out there. Good morning, Cleveland. Coming back in just minutes. More bad blood between Taylor Swift and Apple Music. So her latest album, 1989, will be available now on Apple's new streaming service. A few days ago, Swift wrote an open letter saying that she would pull her music because artists were not being paid during its free 3-month trial period. Apple apologized, saying that they will now pay artists. The new service will be available next Tuesday. Stick around. Good morning, Cleveland. Coming back in just 2.5 minutes. Welcome back. It is 6:30 on your Friday, June 26th, and we need to start with news that is breaking from overnight.
Rescue crews
Breaking overnight in Northeast Ohio. An incident in Brook Park ends peacefully. Police and a SWAT team responded to Glenbrook townhouses. They were watching a man who had an active felony warrant. He was staying in one of those units. Police say he was also in possession of a gun. He ended up getting arrested, and several residents in nearby units were evacuated as a precaution. Yet the belief is his decision will actually come today, and this is based on history. 3 landmark same-sex rulings have all happened on this date, June 26th. Now, the Supreme Court will decide whether states have the right to ban same-sex marriages, as 13 states, including Ohio, do. The Supreme Court handed down its ruling on Obamacare yesterday. It's the second time justices have upheld a major part of the Affordable Care Act. The ruling is over federal tax subsidies, which allows 6 million Americans to afford health insurance. The vote allowing the discounts to be available even in states where the health exchanges are not run by the federal government. 6:35, at least one resident living on Cable Avenue in Cleveland says he's ready to pack his bags after 2 violent shootings just days apart.
Just heard pop, 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 pop. Me and my mother thought it was fireworks at first.
On Wednesday night, police say a 25-year-old Cleveland man shot a 30-year-old in the thigh and then stole his cell phone. That shooting happened just steps away from a Saturday shooting. 22-year-old Arthur Davis III died in that incident. Residents tell us it's a lot of crime for a street that's only 1 block long. We have brand new video of a brazen jewelry store heist in Strongsville. This happened yesterday morning at Jared. An employee telling police the man stole thousands of dollars worth of diamonds by stuffing them into a duffel bag. The suspect had a handgun and wore a mask. So far, no arrests in the case.
Good morning. I'm reporting live here on East 113th off of Superior Avenue in Cleveland. We have breaking news this morning. A 7-week-old baby girl is missing. An Amber Alert has been issued. And just learned new information. Cleveland police are looking for this suspect, Ramon Ogletree. That is the name, Ramon Ogletree, in this case here, this Amber Alert case of a missing 7-week-old baby girl. This baby girl last seen wearing pink pants, according to this Amber Alert I'm seeing here, a pink shirt and red socks. This Amber Alert was just issued, I would say, about 15 minutes ago, but we first started hearing about this around 4 this morning at the scene here on East 113th in Cleveland. Police have been here. They've been talking to the mother of this baby. Also, they have been going in and out of this home, knocking on neighbors' doors. But this morning, we know police are looking for Ramon Ogletree in this Amber Alert case of a missing 7-week-old baby girl. Back to you.
What is going on here?
Well, Karina and Terrence, a plastic baggie just like this, filled with a mixture of sugar and powdered Kool-Aid, ended up getting a 14-year-old suspended from school for 5 days. 8th grader Iverson Sibley says that she was called into the main office after being caught on school security cameras trading the school's paper money for that plastic baggie. Inside, a mixture of sugar with powdered Kool-Aid. Even though school officials realized that the white substance was not drugs, not cocaine, Iverson was still suspended.
If I would have knew that, I would never, brought like Fun Dip or stuff to school like suckers, and if I knew we was going to get in this much trouble.
I said, so she got suspended for basically having candy. No, it was sugar with Kool-Aid in it. I said, I'm waiting for you to explain to me what she got suspended for.
Well, the school told Iverson's mother, you heard from her just there, that they believe that it looked like Iverson was taking part in a drug-type transaction. Live in Akron, Kristin, Byrne, News Channel 5.
A 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, now a 5-month-old. Innocent lives taken in such a senseless way. City leaders did not think that we would be in this same situation. As Cleveland's mayor put it, a line has been crossed.
All these babies is getting killed for what?
As soon as neighbors saw the police lights and sirens, they knew it couldn't be good.
These kids don't ask for this. They're being taken out for what?
The shock still hasn't settled. Hearing another child, a baby at that, had been shot in the city, let alone their backyard.
Sickening, I'm sad. It's disgusting. What is it going to take before these animals begin to conduct themselves in a manner of how we're supposed to conduct ourselves? It has to stop.
But what can the community do? A question we keep asking again and again. After now, a third child killed in Cleveland's East Side in a month's time.
We all share the same sentiment in that the line has been crossed.
Mayor Frank Jackson on scene of this latest death, at times at a loss for words.
What can you say? Other than the fact we all feel the same pain.
The pain, though, he says, needs to fuel action. He says we desperately need federal help. Locally, we're losing the battle against gun violence.
We introduced legislation and council passed some form of that legislation around responsible gun ownership. And we were immediately challenged in court, so we can't even enforce that.
Something, though, Jackson knows has to change and has to change soon.
Just to save them from these streets that has turned into a war zone.
And that community frustration has turned into a feeling of powerlessness. The mayor sharing this story with us yesterday, saying that a local pastor had a meeting at his church just yesterday about fighting this violence. Everyone walked out of that meeting. Right then, they learned about another child being killed on Cleveland's streets.